Hi everybody, so today we're going to be looking at the Rhode Summer Collection. So I've got the full collection. I bought the set, so it comes with this lovely bag, and I also bought the extra blush. So I've got both of the pocket blushes and I've got everything in this set to show you, which does include their brand new shade of the Peptide Lip and the glazing mist and the blush, like I said. So we're going to look at all of those today, using the blush in multiple different ways and the lips and everything else. But first of all, I'm going to start off today by showing you a full skincare routine using Rhodes, because I've got all of their skincare products and I'm a big fan. So I'm going to start with using the mist, which comes in this collection, and then show you how I'm using it and how I use everything else. And this is something I absolutely loved doing, so I can't wait to show you that. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I show you the latest releases, my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this content, I would love it ever so much if you did subscribe to my channel. It's super helpful. Lots of people do watch, but they don't always subscribe, but if you do, honestly, it's really helpful, so if you could, it would mean the world to me. But if you're already subscribed, welcome back. I really appreciate you for coming back to my channel, I honestly do. And my skin tone for matching up with these shades today, I've got fair to light skin with predominantly cool undertones, but they do lean a bit neutral, so I can get away with the warm shades we're looking at today. And I've also got blue eyes. Anyway, that is enough about me. Let's dive straight into this review. Quickly, before I take you to my skincare routine and from the very beginning of my look, let's just take a little look at this bag. So if you've got the skincare kit from them, you've got exactly the same bag in a grey shade. I should have brought mine down, it's upstairs. Anyway, I keep all my skincare in it and I use it every single day. I keep my zip machine in it and I keep all the skincare to go with it. It's double the size, literally. Double in every proportion. But this is more of a sort of makeup bag, but it's exactly the same material. It's that puffy material. And then we're getting the Rhode logo here. And then inside, I've taken things out of the boxes. So when you get your collection, if you do get it, you'll get everything obviously in the boxes. So it comes with one of the pocket blushes. I have bought another one separately. So I've got the two new shades. And then it comes with the new Peptide Lip, the lemontini, I think it's called. And then it comes with the Rhode Mist. So that is how the whole collection looks. Now I'll hand you over to me, starting from scratch with my Rhode skincare routine. I'm starting my skincare routine with this full Rhode set, and I have absolutely nothing on my face. I've cleansed my face and that's it, nothing whatsoever. So I'm going to start with the mist, which you need to give a shake. So this has Ectoin, Ceramide Trio, Beta Glucan and Magnolia Extract, and also Panthenol. So very refreshing and really does wet your face. So you can actually swap this out, which I won't do today, but you can, in my opinion, swap this out for the next step, which is the glazing milk. So you've got the glazing mist and you've got the glazing milk. So I have seen recommendations on the Rhode website to go straight in with the milk, but personally I would switch this for this, one or the other. But today I'm going to follow what they say, but obviously there's lots of different ways to use these products. So the next step now would be the glazing milk, but as I said, if I'm looking for a lighter touch than the glazing milk as my first step, I would go with this mist as my first step. And that could be for my evening skincare routine or now for my morning skincare routine. So now for the glazing milk, which is my favourite product from Rhode. I've already got a backup of this if you want an idea how much I love it. It's my favourite milk type of product ever, and this is my first step of skincare. I love this one and the Pat McGrath one nearly equally, but this one just slightly beats it. So this one, I've written down the ingredients, has a Ceramide Trio again, beta glucan, magnesium, zinc and a copper blend. The combination of these basically is boosting the barrier function, skin barrier function, locking in moisture, calming down your skin, defending against free radicals for plump, healthy looking skin. And then the spray, which had a few more ingredients like Ectoin. Ectoin helps to bind water molecules to the skin to keep it hydrated. So when you use it as your first step, it's very good at locking in the hydration, and it's specifically good in warm weather. So it's a good one to use for the summer. And then the Ceramide Trio is a skin identical lipid concentrate that moisturizes, smooths the skin and helps to reinforce the skin's barrier again. Beta glucan and mushroom derived humectants that provide immediate and long lasting hydration. and magnolia extract, an antioxidant derived from the bark of magnolia trees that contains magnolol and honokiol, I don't know if I've said that right, which help to purify and soothe the skin. And then panthenol, which we see more often, a form of vitamin B5 that smooths and comforts the skin. So now with the milk and the mist, I'm really giving myself quite a lot of goodness. So this is how it looks in my hand. I won't roll it down because it really is very watery. This is beautiful and I love to start my day with this one. I have been told, one of you did say to me to try the one from Ilia, and apparently that's even better. So I have actually placed an order with Ilia to try a few more products from them, and I will let you know when I've tried it if I think it's as good as this, because this is my number one. These are also less expensive than Ilia, less expensive than Pat McGrath. This entire skin routine, I think I paid £100 for the whole set for all four, and I paid nearly 100 just for the Pat McGrath on its own. So the set came with the pineapple cleanser, which is also beautiful by the way, and it came with everything I'm showing you now apart from the mist. So it's worth looking at their skincare sets if you want to get it. It also comes with a really big skincare bag, which I love. So the next step now would be for me, well actually it will be for me, the Barrier Restore Cream. Here that is. And this one has hyaluronic acid complex, which will help to improve hydration on and below the skin surface. Polyglutamic acid, which is an ultra hydrating, skin plumping humectant that helps lock in moisture. Muru butter, which is a nourishing emollient that helps to seal in moisture and decrease transepidermal water loss. Am I saying this all right? Ceramide NP, a skin identical lipid concentrate that helps to reinforce the skin's natural barrier. So I don't always use this. In the winter I actually find it's better to do this full skincare routine. So this is how this one is looking. It's not super thick, so you can see that I will be able to absorb it quite easily, but it really depends on what your skin's doing that day, what sort of time of year, well certainly with me it does, and also it depends on what you're putting on top and whether you want to use any other products. One thing this routine does not include is any sort of vitamin C, so I would still want to add my vitamin C cream. But these three together are just fantastic. If you want, I think you can buy a travel set now, so you can buy small ones. That would be a good way of testing this kit out if I'm right. I think I'm right. And also I'm sure there is, because I nearly bought the travel kit because I thought it's always good to have small size skincare for travel, and I can't think of a better set to take on holiday, because I do like to strip down my skincare routine when I go on holiday and just make sure it's all about hydration and repair from dry conditions, and this set is absolutely perfect. I mean, look at my skin now, it is absolutely glowing with hydration. But it also doesn't feel too heavy, it's been absorbed very, very nicely. Now, when I said there's a fourth step, there is a fourth step, and that one is another gorgeous product, and that one is the Peptide Glazing Fluid. But I'm actually going to use this one a little bit differently today. I'm going to put this one into my foundation because I'm going to try mixing it with a matte foundation, which I haven't actually done before. So I've got one of my favourites out, the Tom Ford Architecture, which I wouldn't usually choose to wear, especially in the warm weather, but it is recommended that you can use this to sort of dilute it and make it a bit more creamy and a bit more hydrating. So I will actually try that. But just quickly before I do that, I will go in with my vitamin C from Dr. Sam Bunting. Look at the state of the bottle on this. Nearly finished. I use this one all the time. I have it on subscription. The last step for me is to go in with my SPF. So what I will be doing next is putting my SPF on and going off camera and doing a few things around the house, because normally I do this skincare routine about half an hour, 45 minutes before filming to allow it time to sink in. This is the Mary & May Cica Soothing Sun Cream, my favourite SPF. Another one that I've bought. I think this is my third bottle. I haven't linked the SPF or the vitamin C, but if you do want those links, please let me know and I'll give them to you. And this SPF is another reason why my face is extra glowy whenever I start my videos, or my foundation reviews because it is very glowy, but oh, it's so good, it's so good. It's called Soothing and it really is incredibly soothing. I also always go in with a vitamin C cream under my eye, and I'm currently coming to the end of my rock cream stick. Again, this is my third purchase of the rock cream vitamin C stick. I do have a couple of pots of eye vitamin C cream, so I'm going to resist, oops, I squished it there where I put the top down on it. I'm going to resist buying another one of these and use up my pots, but I know I'll go back to that because I love it. And then I'll finish off my skincare with the, I keep saying I'm finishing it off and adding things because I'm forgetting, my Delilah Lip Saviour every single morning on my lips before I start anything. So seeing as the issue came up recently about me being shiny on camera, and you were also wonderfully supportive about the sort of nasty comments I got, if that nasty person happens to be watching, this is why I'm always so glowy before I start my foundation reviews. Anyway, I'm now going to go off camera, give this plenty of time to work its way in, and then we'll be back to try mixing the glazing milk, is it? I keep forgetting the names. The glazing fluid, sorry, with the foundation, see if that works, and then we can look at the blushes and the peptide lip. So I'll see you then. So I've given that just over half an hour, nearly 40 minutes to sink in, so you can see it's a little bit less shiny now, and I've just done my brows and put a little bit of colour corrector under my eyes, but apart from that, nothing else. So now I'm going to go in with my foundation. I'm going to use a sponge, which is how I like to apply the Tom Ford Architecture. And I'm going to use the glazing fluid, as I told you. So the glazing fluid, it has niacinamide, which nourish, brighten and improve your skin's texture. It has peptides, which plump and reduce the look of fine lines. We have hyaluronic acid for all the hydration and replenishing moisture. You can see this is going to bring glow. And then marula oil, which is a lightweight, rich in fatty acids and helps support and soften the skin barrier. So this one's really lightweight. This is normally my last step if I want to use all of them, and it works for me like a primer. I don't really need any sort of primer unless I need my sticky one, which I forgot to mention. I have actually got my Maybelline Grippy primer on, which I can't do anything without these days. So I'm going to put one pump now on the back of my hand of my Tom Ford Architecture. I'm going to mix in, I'm actually going to do 2 pumps. 1 pump of the glazing fluid and 1 pump of the Tom Ford Architecture, because the Tom Ford Architecture is not a very thick foundation anyway. So I think I need at least 2 pumps to actually mix evenly with the glazing fluid. So there it is now, all mixed together. So it should just give me a little bit more of a glow than I would normally get from a matte foundation. So let's give it a go and let's see if it argues with the foundation or if it works. Obviously, if it does, this is the first time I've ever tried mixing this with a foundation. I love this foundation, but I wouldn't choose to wear it much in the heat or the summer. It's certainly making it super lightweight. In fact, I love that. That's really good. And applying with a sponge also applies it more lightly. Also, I feel like it goes on more quickly. This is a gorgeous foundation, but this is how to wear it without having quite so much coverage and having a little bit of a glow. So any products you've got like this, give it a try, because it's not the first time I've tried this. I think the Hygiene primer from Natasha Denona does a very similar job if you've already got that one. If you've got any sort of glowy type serums, try them like this with a foundation that's a bit thick, or if you buy one that you like but when it goes on it's too dry and too thick, try this and it will transform it. Also, you could save money by buying a lovely foundation if you spend as much as I did on this Architecture, but then when you want it to be glowy, instead of going out and buying the other Tom Ford glowy one, you can turn it into a glowy one if you've got something like this in your kit. Isn't that lovely? That's worked really nicely. I love that. Well, there we go. Definitely going to be using this one again. So that's given me a nice glowy base, light coverage Oh, I love it. I actually love that. I'm really chuffed with that. Can you tell? So I'll go on and do the rest of my makeup because all we've got to look at today are the two blushes, but we also have the lip product. So because the two blushes are lip and cheek, I'm going to try the lip product on now so you can see it completely on its own. I'll leave it on as I apply everything else, so when I come back it'll still be there. So here's the packaging for the limited edition Lemontini in the Peptide Lip Tint. So this one says it's a shimmery sheer gold gloss that smells like a sweet citrusy lemon cocktail. So I hope it does, because that really got me interested. This is my first time looking at it. Oh yeah, yeah, it is strong lemon. That is lovely. That's a bit like sherbet lemon. Oh, I like that. Let me show you on the back of my hand. You can see that glitter as well. There, you can see the little sort of gold particles, can't you? Oh, I like the look of this. And also, Rhode say that this is the first version of their improved Liptide lip treatment and tint formula. So it's got the same nourishing gloss that you know, but now it's got a lasting smooth texture. So if I'm going to be leaving this on while I do everything else, and right at the last minute when I do the blushes I will take it off, we'll find out if it's got a bit of lasting power. Not loads, but at least I can tell you if it's got a reasonable amount. So let's put this on. Shall I zoom you in a bit so you can see it better? You can see the sparkle, and the smell of the lemon is really strong. Oh, that is lovely. I love that. I've got one of their other ones here on my desk. Which one is this? The shortcake. I just want to see if the... God, I can taste lemon. It's gone in my mouth. And it's really not unpleasant. I recently tried the Glossier Banana, if everyone saw all this banana trend. And the Glossier Banana one, it tastes absolutely vile. This one, it's like I've just had a lemon sweet. I don't know if you'll like that. But yeah, I'm just looking at shortcake now. There's shortcake. To see if they feel any different. I think shortcake feels a bit thinner. Yeah, it does a little bit. I can see this one having more of a grip. That is an improvement because I don't get an awful lot of longevity out of this, so I think we're going to get longer hydration and more of a grip, and obviously we're getting this shimmer in this. So what do you think? It'll make a nice topper as well if you used it maybe with a matte lip. In fact, what I'll do today is when I try the pocket blush on the lips, I'll finish my final look by putting this over the top, so we'll see it again. So I'll leave you now, do the rest of my makeup, and then we can come back and look at the blushes. So I'll see you when I've done all that. So now I've got a full face of makeup on and the lip products after about another half an hour, I'd say. That's how long I've been off camera. Still holding strong. Still giving me plenty of hydration. I know my lips quite well. I would imagine I've got about another hour. So an hour and a half, 2 hours before I add more. But I am very, very bad at getting rid of hydration on my lips. I'm constantly going like that. I have super dry lips and I drink a lot of water and coffee throughout the day. So maybe for you it would last more like 4. I know I whiz through my lip balms, even the strongest ones. But I do think this has a good grip. I've tried many that go off within half an hour. So I think about 2 hours for this is not bad at all. So anyway, I'll leave it on for just a second, but we're going to look now at the 2 new shades of the Pocket Blush, a formula that I really, really love. So let's start with the one that's going to be the hardest for me to apply, but one I think could work well for me for the autumn because it's an orangey shade. So this one is called Sun Soak. So there it is. Let's put some on my hand. So we have an awful lot of pigment there for me. Gorgeous shine with these. I love this formula. I'm definitely not putting this one straight onto my cheeks. I'm going to take my Mario F4 brush and I'm going to take a little bit off my hand where I've just swatched it, and you can see there how it changes when you're working it in. So hopefully now, just with that little bit, I'll try it now on this side. Oh yeah, that's not too bad at all. Now, seeing it straight away, it's definitely a summer shade, but I also think this will work nicely in autumn when we get all those lovely orange sort of shades. I have today gone for a cool eye look, which is probably a bit of a mistake in hindsight. because the other blush shade is quite summery, so I don't know if they're going to look really silly with my eye, but I will connect it with my eye because I always like to connect it because I just like a little bit of the same sort of blush colour by here. I don't like to have that gap of just sort of white. So not necessarily the best of matches, but anyway, that is a beautiful shade. So that's how much I've taken off my back of my hand there, so about half of that swipe, and it's definitely shearing out quite nicely. So this is not a scary shade for light skin tones, that's for sure. I see that's a perfect level of colour for me. I will take what's left and just build it up a little bit so you can see, but just know I would not be taking this one any further. I think this one is absolutely fine as it is. And these, by the way, work beautifully on top of powder as well. Today I haven't powdered this area because I've used a matte foundation. I didn't feel like needed it, even with the glowy mix I made today. I still think that it didn't need powdering, so this is going directly on, so I've got a really glowy cheek. I'm just going to take the other end of this brush and just go around the edges now to try and just blend it out and soften the edges a bit. So you can see it built up a little bit too much for my liking, but just to show you how much more you could get, and you could I think you could probably double the pigment if you wanted to. So if you've got a deeper skin tone, you're not going to be disappointed. I love these formulas, they are so, so good. Let me take the lip balm off, and now I'm going to try this one on the lips. God, look at that. So that's better. It's very bold when I started then. I think the best way to apply this is to take a brush, if you've got a lip brush that you use. Take the brush to the actual lip and then apply. And this is one that feels very comfortable on the lips. It's not one of these cheek products where you put it on the lips and it's just a bit drying, which often happens with these. This actually works well on cheek and lips. And I say that because so many of them say they do and they don't. This one does. You won't get a lot of longevity out of the lip colour. That is lovely, and I still think for me this is going to be a really nice autumn combination. Not with this eyeshadow look. Silly me. Anyway, ignore that. So this one is Sun Soak on my cheeks and lips and on my hand, as you've seen. What do you think of this one? I think that's lovely. I really, really do. So I'll take it off the lips. So the other new shade is called Tan Line, and this one is a pinky tan. So this one is a lot lighter and probably going to work a little bit better with my eye look, but maybe not perfectly because again it's a tan shade. So here it is. So you've got that slight pinky tone to it, which I really like actually. And again, I'm going to take what's on my hand. I'll take I've got my 109 from BK Beauty, that will do as well. I'm going to take it off the back of my hand again. This time I'm taking half of the amount I've swiped. So I'm being a bit more generous because it's not quite as bold. You definitely can swipe these directly onto the cheek. I'm just being a bit cautious. I'm going to go in for the rest because that really is not as scary as the other colour. Although now I'm seeing them sheared out, they don't look awfully different. Which is telling me get one or the other for sure. And for me, I think already I'll be saying to you get the orange one because it's so different. It's such a different shade and it's going to be such a cool one to use now for the rest of the summer and moving into the autumn. This one, you look at this one sheared out. Now look at this one. They're not massively different. They're quite similar. This one's just maybe a bit more user-friendly if you've got light skin because you're not having to worry. I can actually swipe a bit more directly on this time because of the fact that it's not quite as scary in pigment. So this is building it up now more than I would actually want, but again showing you how it looks when it's built up. These formulas are gorgeous. If you haven't tried them, honestly, they are, like I said, they're very adaptable because they work on powders, they work on creams. You get reasonable longevity, but especially if you if you now stop, powder and then apply. In fact, I can show you that if you want me to. You can't answer me, so shall I assume that you've requested that? But maybe I'll do that now, just to show you. But I will be using a lot less when I do that. So I'll take some powder now, so you can see it locked in. I'm going completely over. I'm using my Fenty lavender as well, and using a lavender shade like this does actually bring down the colour. So keep that in mind. If you use a clear or white translucent powder, you might not get that. You might still get a bit more colour coming through. So there it is powdered down, which I think still looks nice, and I haven't completely lost the glow, have I? Look how similar each side looks. But now I will take my brush to the blush. So let me show you how this works well on top of powder as well. And it literally just goes on in exactly the same way as it did on top of foundation. It's a really easy to apply blush formula, it's gorgeous. But if you only like cool tones, you're not going to like either of these. They are pretty warm, aren't they? Which you would expect really from a summer launch like this. So if I take the F4 brush and now take a little bit of the, I keep saying orange, but it's Sun Soak is the name, a tiny bit, brush to the blush. Oh God, I said tiny bit, and look what's happened. See, this one is so much more pigmented, isn't it? But like I said, it's very adaptable, and it will just work nicely on top of powder. So I can still shear it out pretty easily. I think we're going to see the difference in shades better on top of powder. But doing it this way, you're going to get the longevity, which is something I always do and always say to you. If you want your blush to last, do it this way. So apply powder, then reapply. You don't lose the glow, but what you do get is much more longevity from your blush. But do remember that when you go on top of a powder with your cream blush, you will get more pigment. So just that tiny bit has given me much more of a pop. But you can see the difference in the shades now between the orange and the tan, the pinky tan. But both of those look a little bit too built up for me, so I think I will take this end of the Mario brush now again and just calm it down a bit. In fact, I'm going to go back over with a bit more powder purely because I want to bring it back down because it's too much. But I wanted you to see the effect and how much pigment you get. But that doesn't mean you need to now powder down. You just can go a lot more lightly than I have. Please keep in mind, I'm just showing you how this looks. If you want to have it more built up, or maybe if you've got a deeper skin tone, what you may expect from the product. You can see again that powdering down doesn't lose the glow. I'm just tapping a tiny amount on the brush anyway, so I'm not heavily powdering here. And now let's put the tan line on my lips. I'll take the brush directly this time to the actual blush. That's a nice lip shade. So this one's more of an everyday sort of neutral shade, I would say. It's definitely more neutral than the orange side. So there is the blush with the lip. But again, I really don't think you're going to see there's much difference in these blushes now that they're calmed down again. So we have Sun Soak and Tan Line. Which one is your favourite? And Tan Line is the one on the lips. I do think that they are different and you can definitely use them differently, but certainly for me, this one would be the Sun Soak would be the one I would use more regularly. But for the autumn, I'm definitely going to be trying this one. When I get an eyeshadow look that's got a bit of orange in it, I'm definitely going to try this one because I think it'll go really nicely. And I can try it on the lips as well. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a lip product I would rely upon because I do like a bit more longevity from my lip products. But if I'm just looking for a quick lip product, then it does work. And what these are really good for is daily touch-ups. So pop these in your bag, and if you just want to pop a little bit on your finger and tap a bit more on your cheeks and on your lips, it's very quick and easy to do that. Maybe not so much with the orange because it is so strong on my skin tone. So if you're very fair like me, you might find the orange a little bit dodgy for that. And I will finish now by putting this new peptide lip on the top, as I said I would, to see if we can see that golden sparkle a bit. So let's put this on. do you think? That lemon smell. You don't see the gold much, it just looks more like a sort of wet gloss to me. You can just about, I mean, keep in mind, I'm showing you underneath all these beaming lights. You can just about see the sparkle, so it's not really that evident. It's a very, very light sparkle. You don't feel the sparkle, by the way. It's not gritty at all. It's completely clear and smooth. You just do not feel it, so that's not something you need to worry about. But if you're getting this because you want a lot of sparkle, I don't think you're going to get it. But it certainly works nicely as a topper to give me that glossy look. It gives me the hydration, but I think the winning part about this is the fragrance. It is really, really, really nice, really nice. So there we have it. That is everything from the Rhode Summer Collection. I would love to hear what you think about everything. Which of the two blushes do you think you like the best? Would you be picking up either of these? I think they are both beautiful, and as I said, I already know that this formula is fabulous. The Peptide Lip, the smell is definitely winning it for me, but I wouldn't say it's my number one or my favourite. But fragrance wise, we had the Charlotte Tilbury ones, which smell incredible, and so does this. Right now I'd say get the Charlotte Tilbury Strawberry and Vanilla and this. They are the best fragrances this summer for me. I love them. The banana one from Glossier smells incredible, but it tastes disgusting in my opinion. And then we had the Rhode Mist, which isn't particularly new. I think it launched about a month before, but this came with the kit, so we tried that, and you've seen the full skincare routine, which I think is exceptional. I think the Rhode skincare is really, really, really good. One of my absolute favourites now. I think if I've got top favourites, it's things like Tatcha, Caudalie, and I'm currently trying out some fabulous products from companies like Calisym and things like that, but that's a bit more complicated skincare routine. And when it comes to my sort of daily routine to give me moisture, to give me hydration, to lock in my makeup and to make my skin feel plumped and just the best it can, I honestly think that the Rhode routine is one of the best. So there is an issue for me though with this glazing mist, and it's an issue that's going to make me use it a lot less than other ones I've got, which I didn't mention, and that is that if I now spray it on top of my makeup, which it's supposed to be for, not just underneath, it makes everything super sticky, and I really don't like it. So if you don't mind that sort of tacky sensation, if you know me, I hate tacky sensations. I would just have to go in and powder my whole face again because of the tackiness I get from this. So this is not a mist I would use again on top. I almost always reach for my one from Delilah, which is the Wake Up Hydrating Mist here, which has a rose fragrance as well, because that's going to give me the hydration and refreshing feeling and gorgeous fragrance as well. But it's not giving me the sticky, tacky finish, which this one does, unfortunately. So this one, it's not something I won't use, but it's something I'll only use as my first step in my skincare. And it is a very good first step because it really does help to seal the hydration in and help to lock it in. But for me, that's all it's for. So I would personally prefer to use the glazing milk over this, but I do think that it has a place. And I think for me, it's that this one maybe in the summer when I need a little bit less of a heavy skincare base, I go for more in the winter, so I think I could swap these two out and use that instead. But I do love using this, so I don't know if I would, but maybe like today I'll just use the two together and see how I get on, because I feel like my skin feels incredible today. So I do love the Rhode skincare. I would love to hear from you if you've tried the Rhode skincare, and if you haven't, would you think about trying it? If you've thought about trying it, maybe you could look out for offers. But I do think they're very good value, to be honest, and like I said, it's worth looking out for that travel set if it's available, because that's a really good way of trying it. But overall, absolutely delighted, and I love my Rhode bag. I love it. I just think I love puffy things like this. I love the colour, I love how cheerful it is. So this is just another makeup bag that I can use for bits and pieces. I love everything about this collection. Fabulous. I do really like Rhode, and I can't wait to see what they've got coming for us next. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would love it ever so much if you did subscribe. But if you're already subscribed, you're at the end of another review, and I'm so grateful to have you here. I truly am, and I really do hope to see you all again for my next video. Take care everybody, bye.